Hey everyone, I'm doing my John Maxwell. As you can see, I'm at home. I'm standing with the light behind me, so you can see my room in the background, but that's fine. So today is day 2 of the next chapter in here, and it's the law of the inner circle. And the thought for today is a team is more than just a group of people. The question for reflection is, how are you building a team? And again, John Maxwell is using stories from the Bible and lessons from the history of the people of Israel to help us to reflect on our own teams and our own situations. I had mentioned that the history of Israel is filled with the wars that they fought, but we can take that analogy and we can apply it in our schools, we can apply it in our workplaces. In every team sport, you have a captain, and a captain chooses the members of the teams, assigns their places, motivates them, and helps them succeed. And what I did was I took this and I reflected on how I was a team captain in school, in high school, in junior school, and in the workplace. I had teams under me when I had my projects that I worked on in banking and different places within Canada. I had teams that I was responsible for, and I motivated them, I helped them, I coached them. Many of the people that were under me were newcomers to Canada, so they were very unsure of their footing, of how to adapt culturally, of what to do, and I helped them in the workplace, including at Teleperformance. Many of them have gone on to other things. They've gone on to be account managers at places that supply our electricity, in law firms. They've gone on to be legal secretaries. So I've helped them, and some of them do stay in touch with me. When we look at the growth of David's inner circle, I'm just going to cover the points that John Maxwell does. He started building a strong inner circle before he needed it. So we need to know who we can go to and who's going to be there before that point comes where we're going to need people. Because when we get to the point where we need people, if we haven't been in touch with them or we haven't been building up our teams, whether it's on our sports teams at school or whether it's in our workplaces, it's too late then to go to them. And the example he gives is the 11 men listed from Gad were captains of the army. The least was over 100 and the greatest was over 1,000, and that's from 1 Chronicles 12:14. So he didn't just attract anyone, he attracted strong leaders and people that he knew he could count on. He attracted people with varied gifts. So on your team, you don't need people who are all like you. You need people who can be different from you, who can help you to see a different point of view, who can bring different skills to the table to complement each other. Because if you're the same, then you don't help each other. When the hard times come, you both think the same way, you both do the same things. So that doesn't help your team in the end. You need people who complement each other. And he gives examples of the army again. So he had bowmen, slingers, spearmen. He had people that could do different things. And it's the same way in anything. Like when we used to do our community cooking at Trinity House, myself and my friend Myrtle Townsend, we used to draw up the rosters. We used to do the shopping for the group, and we used to come back and pack it in the fridge. And then everyone used to get together, men and women, girls and guys, and we used to cook. And we had a scheduled time where we all ate together, and we built fellowship around that in our Catholic residence. So it was fun for us to do, and we liked doing that. Myrtle and I liked going out and getting the groceries. We used to take the bus and we used to go. And then we used to get the groceries for the month and come home. The same way I do it now for myself. We used to do it together because 2 pairs of hands are better than one. So it was nice. And then he says he engendered loyalty. So he displayed loyalty for his followers when he was king. And when his son Absalom committed treason against him, it looked like he might be defeated. But he had the Lord with him. And he relied on the people closest to him, and those people were even willing to give their lives for him as their king and as somebody that they followed, because they knew his integrity, they knew who he was. And it's the same thing, like even though I hated the fact that I had to work in so many contract positions in banking, in every bank I worked in, they told me, you have come very highly recommended. Unfortunately, some of those new managers didn't like me. For example, at CIBC, Jacek, he told me, he kept me for a long time, and then one day we went to a meeting with the head, and the head also liked me, the managing director at CIBC. And then we came back from the meeting and he said, I'm letting you go now. I said, why? What did I do? He said, oh, I don't like your approach. I said, but I've been on the team for a long time now, and all of a sudden today you decided you didn't like my approach. And he's like, I don't want to discuss it. You pack up your things and go and don't come back. So I couldn't even say goodbye to anyone. I just had to pack up and go. And I called the agency, Manpower, and I told them, and they're like, oh, they must have had budget cuts or something. We'll find you something else. And they didn't find me anything else. But that's what happens. If you work with people that know you, like you, and trust you, if they can get you onto their team, it's better than if they recommend you to people who they might say, okay, this person is very, very highly recommended. They obviously respected in the industry, but then they have different personalities. And the people that like me may not necessarily like me on that new team. So that's what happens sometimes. It's not normally about your credibility. It's also about the team that you're working with and who else is on their team that they might want to get into that position. Because when I worked there, somebody got promoted, and so they needed somebody temporary to come in to help. And unfortunately for me, all those temporary contracts did not turn into something permanent. But it doesn't mean that I give up my faith, and it doesn't mean that I give up my hope or my trust in God. I dig in even deeper. If you watch that Tina Turner movie and you see how she turned to Buddhism, and she says the roots of the tree go deeper into the mud when something bad happens. Christians are like that. We turn to the Lord in a very deep way when the hard times come. And then the fourth point is that he delegated responsibility based on ability. So for me, people often say, oh, she's too strategic. And that's because I've sat on boards, I've worked at management level, I've worked with the executive, that's where I work the best. But I take whatever is available. It doesn't mean that I'm not capable of doing more. It doesn't mean that taking entry level is the level of my ability. It just means that that's the job that was available. So I took it because I wanted to work. And it's better than sitting at home and doing nothing. But everyone has different abilities. I like to play the piano. I can't play the guitar because the bridge of the guitar, when I tried to learn, it was very hard for me. I couldn't hold the strings and change them. I found it hard, so I play the piano. I like to sing, whether it's in the church or at home or singing with Elvis. So people have different abilities on the team too. I'm good with doing the administration. I'm good with keeping track of things. I take detailed notes. So everybody has different skills that they can bring to a team. And a good team leader will notice where those strengths are and where those weaknesses are, and they'll place you in the right role for you. When I worked in project management, it wasn't something I wanted to go in. I wanted to go into human resources or to get another executive assistant role. But the agency said, well, why don't you try this, because it's got a component of executive administration to it, and you see what you can do. So I didn't have any training, but I went and I took courses at HRPA on project management, and I went in and I had to just learn on the job. And many jobs are like that. You go in and then you learn on the job how to do them. And there has to be some room for error, because if you don't allow room for error, people can't learn. So those are the points that John Maxwell brings to us for reflection. Again, it's all Bible-based values and Bible-based examples that we can take and we can use in our schools, on our sports teams, in our business communities, even in the church. When we go to church, Father Larry decides who's going to be placed in what positions, and he asks, like, why haven't you read for a long time? But we have somebody in charge of that, so she decides when she's going to schedule us to read, and based on what she thinks will be good for the church. And that's the way it goes. So again, I hope that helps people. I'm still looking for my job. I'm still applying, and I'm hoping I get something soon. It's very stressful when you're unemployed and you're living off debt, but I take it one day at a time, because who knows, I mean, if there's a tornado tomorrow, we all might be gone. So I try not to let it get to me too much, but I'm only human. There are days where it gets to me like everybody else.